The 2016-17 Premier League champions Bidwest Wits have sold their top-flight PSL status to TTM Football Club. Now, new owners TTM confirmed the news in a series of tweets on the team's official Twitter page. One tweet was reading that it is official. TTM Football Club has completed the sale of Bidwest Wits with all its players, which was posted on Saturday evening. Now, the team also confirmed that they have lodged with the PSL for an official name change, that the name will change from Bidwest Wits to TTM FC as of the beginning of the new season. Now, just to chat a bit more about this, I am joined on the line by sports journalist Khuliso, just to unpack this a bit more. Khuliso, thank you so much for joining me on the show this morning. Just like that, Bidwest Wits is gone. But I want you to just try to put this into perspective for us, for those that are asking themselves why Bidwest Wits would want to sell their status. What do we know? Does this have anything to do with reports suggesting that perhaps Bidwest Group are interested in sponsoring the league, or they had financial problems?
Good morning to me and good morning to all your viewers. It could really range from it could have a lot of reasons why they've decided to sell. But I think the number one reason will obviously be the fact that it was not sustainable. I spoke to Roger Desai a couple of weeks ago, and what he was really saying was that the amount of money that they had started spending, especially before they won that 2017 title, they had just started spending a lot of money. Remember when Roger was there, him and Eric Tinkler were doing a lot of work to sort of like develop players from their development structures. But as it is now, Bidwest Wits are starting to buy a lot more players than we were used to having them. So I think it is that it was not financially sustainable, but it's also the fact that the Bidwest guys are now looking at obviously going the way of sponsoring the what we now know as the Africa Premiership. But remember, the vets being sold came out way before ABSA confirmed that they won't be renewing their relationship with the Premier Soccer League for the title sponsorship of the ABSA Premiership. So it could be that. It could also very well be the fact that they just can't afford it, So I think we will hear more from vets themselves this week, because remember, as it is at this point, we've only heard from the TTM guys. We haven't heard from what vets themselves are saying. So this week is going to be very important in as far as that deal is concerned, because we still need to hear from the PSL themselves to hear what they're saying about this deal. Do they give it a green light, so to say? Because what we know at the moment is that it's just the agreement between the two clubs.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm hearing, what you're saying is that perhaps this was a long time coming. Do you think perhaps with regards to the coronavirus also, it might have taken that much toll on the club?
I think what the coronavirus did now is probably just to bring it more forward than maybe it was anticipated. I don't think the coronavirus is going to affect a lot of South African teams to an extent that they will have to sell. So I think the sale has been pushed forward because of the coronavirus, but I don't think it's the main driving factor. The main driving thing here is probably the fact that they just can't afford to run a club going forward, because as now the new TTM owners will actually see, it has been proven time and again that it is very hard. It is harder. It is more difficult rather to run a football club in the Africa Premiership than it is to buy one. So that is what I think happened at Bidwest. Running the club became too much of a burden, and we all just speculating at this moment too, because they haven't really come out and said exactly what happened, and I doubt that they will come out and say exactly what it is that is happening. But they will be able to give us some more information during the course of the next 5 days.
I think the first thing that comes to mind right now when I heard the news is that a coach as good as Gavin Hunt is now looking to see where he could go next, because I do know that TTM owner did say that they have let him know that they are not going to take him on as a coach because they can't afford him. But the question is, where do we see him going? There have been rumors about him going to Kaizer Chiefs, but he was saying, guys, this is ridiculous. You guys can't speculate that I'm going to Kaizer Chiefs when there's a coach there already.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that the coach that is at Kaizer Chiefs at the moment was a space filler, so to say. You know, for them when they can find a proper coach or a coach who they think could be a long-term coach. That is why he was not given a 4-year or 3-4-year contract like Steve Compella was before him. Yeah. So I think there is a possibility of Gavin Hunt going there. I do understand that he's had meetings with one of the Soweto Giants before, but as he alluded to when he did his interview with the South African Football Journalists Association, he did allude to the fact that there were too many people involved, he thought, so he wasn't going to have as much power. So I think the difference between then and now to me is going to be the fact that he does not have the best job as leverage, so he will be able to take on such a job. I do see him, though, in the next season going to one of the Soweto Giants. I just don't see if Pirates will be keen to let go of their coach now, who seems to be doing well, especially towards the beginning of this year. I think he won 6-7 games on the trot. But in Naturena, it's a different story. Because the fan base is not really impressed with Ernst Middendorp, and if he doesn't win this league, and even if he wins the league, it will be hard to see him staying on as coach of Kaizer Chiefs. So I think that is where Gavin Hunt will be able to be brought into the conversation. And even if he does not necessarily like the fact that there are too many people running the show there, he doesn't have the best leverage anymore because that job is gone, and he will need to start looking for a job sooner than later.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how his future unfolds. But we know that this is not the first time that TTM buys a status. They bought them a status coming into the Glad Africa Championships and now into the PSL. But, I mean, to a club to survive in the PSL, earlier on you said obviously running a club in the PSL is not easy, but also just playing and making sure that you stay and remain in the top flight is not easy. Do you see them remaining in the league?
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. Look at what happened with Platinum Stars when they were bought from Silver Stars, and then they had to relocate to Rustenburg, and start playing as Platinum Stars. So what happens is that the first couple of years they will be fine because they'll still have that financial muscle. But what the guys like Ranti Mukwena from Free State Stars will tell you is that when it starts eating into your other business money, that is where you start realizing that it's not very good to be running, because teams that really make money in South Africa, it's probably Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns also. They also have to depend a lot on their owner, going into his deep pockets. And the good thing about him is that his pockets are really deep. So we don't know how deep the pockets of Matana Mwaudi are at this moment and how sustainable it could be going forward to run a football league, And with after now having gone as the sponsorship of the Premier League, we do not know what money or what monthly grant the new sponsors will be giving to the PSL. It might not go back to the 2.5 that the teams are getting now at the moment. It might go back to 2 or go back to 1.5. We're not sure. So certainly that money helps them when it comes to running the football club itself. So I think they'll be fine for the first 2-3 seasons, because obviously they'll still have some of the best players there. But after that, it's going to be so hard because they won't have the money to splash as they like, to try and get whatever player or to try and get whatever they're trying, or whatever coach they're trying to get into the team. They've already now alluded to the fact that they cannot afford Gavin Hunt. which now makes you wonder, okay, what kind of coach are they going to bring in? Is it going to be a coach that is not well known? Is it going to be someone from outside? So it's something that it will be in the clear after this season, but it's going to be very interesting. I do see them staying in the Africa Premiership at least for a season 2, maybe even 3. But beyond that, they will start to struggle, and they might even actually find themselves in a situation like Platinum Stars have, because now Platinum Stars are gone. They've sold to Cape Umoya, and they've ceased to exist.
I mean, just before I let you go, what are your thoughts on being able to buy a PSL status as a club? Does it not compromise the standard of competition in the league?
It does. Not necessarily the standard of competition. I think what it compromises is the legitimacy of the league itself, and the competition, because we don't know, and then the tradition, the Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, and to an extent Mamelodi Sundowns, have a very, very big tradition of, okay, this is where we come from, this is how we play. You can throw in teams like Bloemfontein Celtic as well, Black Leopards as well. You can throw them in there, but if a team is just going to be bought like that and then have to relocate, I think that is where the problem comes in. Teams are bought all over the place. We saw now the Newcastle team is about to be bought, but the problem, the good thing about that is that when they buy the team, it will stay in Tyneside. And the fans who've been supporting Newcastle all this time, they will still have access to their team. But now Wits is moving to Venda, which means it's going to be a whole different fan base. What happened to the Wits fan base that was here? Where do they go? People are making jokes that they will have to join the 217 Sundowns fans, and then they will become 267. But that's the thing; it compromises the legitimacy of these clubs, the legitimacy of the culture or tradition that we're trying to create in South African football. When you're talking about Kaizer Chiefs, what you're talking about, Orlando Pirates, Sundowns, Bloemfontein Celtic, Black Leopards. But the other teams, they're just moving, from one place to the other. Next season it will be a different team being bought by someone else. The old TTM now, they're 2 points away from getting into the Africa Premiership, so we might find ourselves in a situation where we have 2 clubs that have just recently bought their statuses and they're competing in the Africa Premiership. So it's a shame, really. I don't have a problem with clubs being bought, but I have a problem with status moving all over the place.
Khuliso, thank you very much for your time. We're going to have to leave it over there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see and hear from what Bidwest is going to say with regards to this, because previously they had said that they are not interested in selling their status. That was sports reporter Khuliso Nemarimela chatting to me about the Bidwest sale, which fell through last night. TTM FC are the new owners of the club, and they will be carrying that PSL status and players over to the new club, which will still remain under the name TTM Football FC. Obviously, this is if the PSL gives them the green light.